Learn 6 easy ways to create awesome frames or borders for your images. Hello my friends, my name is Olivio. I'm a professional designer in Vienna, Austria. And if you like my videos, maybe subscribe to my channel. So let's get started. The first trick I want to show you is these frames that highlight details in your pictures while the background is blurred to make them stand out even more. So what you want to do, let's hide what I have created so far and start fresh. So we have this picture in total in the background, and you can download these PNG images with the picture already cut out in the middle. So this helps us a lot. I will of course link this in the video description, and we will just place this over different areas of the picture that we find interesting. You can hold Control and then click and drag to create duplicate. And you can hold Shift and rotate to rotate in iterations. So we'll rotate by 90 degrees. This is also good in combination with text, of course. Let's resize these so there is a bit more variety in them. So let's have these taxis down here, and then we have these guys here on the, on the advertisement. So there we go. The next thing that we are going to do is we are going to create a live effect layer. So click here on live filter, select Gaussian blur filter, and you want to click preserve alpha and then set it to a ratio where the picture is blurred enough so you can still see it's the same picture, but at the same time the details in the background are hidden. I want to drag this behind the lowest of our frames so the frames are all sharp, and then create an adjustment layer for curves in this time, in this situation. Pull this down a little bit so the background is getting darker. That's pretty important. And the next thing we want to do is to bring inside of the frames the light and the sharpness back. So we're going to use our brush and we want to set it to round. There we go, select a round size, set it to a big, good size like this, so it's useful to paint out the middle, and you want to set it to opacity 100, hardness 100, and color black, and then we are just painting out these because there's already a mask on our adjustment layer, so we can easily get rid of our adjustments inside of the frames. You can see this is very quick, and it makes it look so much better. There we go. We're going to do the same for our Gaussian blur. You can say when you paint on here, the sharpness is coming back, and it really highlights the details. That is a really cool technique, and you can see it's super easy to do. Another thing that you can do now when you're finished with this is you can select all of these frames and then hit Ctrl-G on your keyboard to group them all. And an effect that I like to do, but you have to be a bit careful with that, is to add a shadow to the frames. The reason why you have to be a bit careful with that is you can see when I hit the offset that of course the shadow is also inside of the frame because the middle of our frame is cut out. But when I make the radius bigger so it's getting blurred, it's less visible, and it actually looks on the inside like the frame is higher than the picture. So I think it still looks good. It looks good as an effect. You can see we have this result, which I think looks really awesome. Okay, so this was the first trick on how to create frames inside of your picture. It looks really good. The next thing that I want to show you is grunge borders for your picture. So here we have a grunge border that I've downloaded from the internet. Again, you can, for example, search for grunge frame PNG. It will show you these files where, again, the inside has already been cut out for you. And you can resize this, of course, to be the same size of your picture and put it on the border. So that's pretty easy. And another thing that you can do is, of course, change the color. For this, you go to Effects with your grunge border selected. Go to Effects of that layer. We don't need shadows here. What we need is Color Overlay. And you can see I can now choose any kind of color I want. anything that you think looks good for your picture. And a little advice that I want to give you is that these grunge borders often work very well with bold, big text. For example, like this, I have prepared this. There you have a text. It has a outline, color outline, and a little bit of shadow in the background. And it mixes really well with this kind of grungy, messy border around the picture. So that's the second one. That's a frame for a picture. Let's go to the third idea. And these, again, we are basing it on PNGs you can download from the internet. And you can find stuff like this. This is very fun, it's very easy, it's pre-designed for you, and the only thing you have to do is to put on the layer behind this PNG either the same picture with different details or different pictures, and this is a very easy way to do that. That I wanted to show you. And there's a lot of different designs of these vector frames that you can find. I found these very fun because they have this kind of traveling vibe, and at the same time it's a little bit hipster, it's a little bit how can I say, nice traveling design. So that's pretty cool and very easy, and you just pop it over your picture and have a very good look. Okay. Let's go to the next one. The next one, again, is a little bit more work. Not as easy, but it's still very easy, still very fast to do. So the first thing we are going to do is to use the rectangle tool, and we are going to draw a rectangle over an area that we find interesting in our picture. I make this large, rather large, to show you, so you can see everything. And now on the shape that we have just created, right click and select convert to curves. It's pretty important because now we have these white edges here, and this we can use with our node tool. The node tool is down here. If you're not seeing it, it might be because it's hidden behind the pen tool. So if you're seeing the pen tool, click and hold your mouse until this little pop-up window opens and select the node tool. And then we are going to move this around because we want to have an irregular shape. We don't want to have a normal rectangle, but rather a little bit more funky shape. There we go. I think we can leave it like that. Next thing we are going to do is to drag our picture onto our curve like this. So you can see that now this works like a mask basically, and this effect, this frame works best if you have a white background. The next thing that we are going to do is again create a rectangle all over all of this. Of course, this should be outside. I have to drag the rectangle layer on the behind, so it's on the background basically. Right click again, convert to curves, and now what I'm going to do, I'm click up here in fill color, and I'm setting it to gradient, and I will select the left how can I say, ball or circle here, click on color and select a color from my picture, maybe this violet in here. Then I'm clicking on this right circle to select the color on the right side. Click again on color, select another color, for example, this blue down here. So we have a nice fade from a violet color to a blue color. And now we are going to drag this shape around our irregular shape in the middle, again in a interesting, fun way. This is really up to you what you want to create. You can be really creative with that. Now what we are going to do is duplicate this. There we go. And I will take my move tool, hold my shift key and rotate it 180 degrees so it's upside down. And I am going to set the blend mode to soft light. There we go. And again, use my node tool to move these shapes around so the colors are blending in an interesting way. And you want to make sure that the edges of the shape that you have created before are sticking out a little bit. So we get different kind of colors, different look. You can still go, of course, back to the other layer, move it around a little bit, and you can see we are getting a really interesting and funky shape around our image. And this is a nice design concept with shapes, with easy shapes to make your picture look more interesting, to have an interesting individual design. that you can use. And again, this is one that uses that works good with text, with advertisement, with information for the picture. Maybe you have a like a birthday card for a friend, stuff like that. Okay, so this was the fourth shape. The next one is again grunge, but you can use it with any other kind of brush, because this is based on brushes. So I will really quickly group this and hide this so we have our original picture. And now what we're going to do is again rectangle tool and draw a rectangle over all of the picture. We will set you can set the fill color to whatever you want. You can even use a gradient as we have already. But for now, I'm going to set it to white. And then we are going to create a mask layer and pull the mask layer onto the rectangle. That's important. So it's like in here, you can see here's the rectangle, there's the mask layer. And now what we want to use is brushes. And like I said, you can use any kind of brush. You can download brushes from the internet with different kind of shapes. I downloaded some grunge brushes. I will link them, of course, in the video information. And you can see the resolution of the brushes is a lot too big. We will make this smaller. And we want to set again the color to black. And now you can see when I click, I have this kind of shape here. So this means I can click all over my picture. I will stamp this. So this means I will just click, not move the brush around too much, because then I will lose this nice, how can I say, linen texture. But you can see right now that I'm creating a border. I'm cutting out areas of the picture that I find interesting. So you can create your custom, individual, interesting grunge border. And like I said, if you have another brush, of course, what you can do is create any kind of border. You can use like heart shapes or moon shapes or any kind of shapes you want if the brush has this supported. So there's sites online where you can download brushes in any kind of shapes. Okay, let's go to the sixth trick. And this is a really quick one. And it works amazingly well. It's really cool how well this works. So you know this from movies, and you will be surprised how cool and easy this is. So here's the picture. Look at it right now. And now I'm just going to create a rectangle over all of the picture, and I'm going to set it to black. And then I'm going to create a second rectangle over my picture. Let's set this to white. And let's put this in the center. So this will, you have to make sure that up here where it says view, you go to your snapping manager and say snapping enabled. And when you see a red line, this means you can see the red line goes through all of the picture. This is the center of the picture. Move this over so it's over all of the width of the picture. And now what I'm going to do is set my blend mode to erase. Erase. That's important. And then move it onto my other rectangle like this. There we go. Bam. So now this is cutting out the shape from the other rectangle. It works like a mask. And holding my shift key, I can now click on these side circles here, side handlers. Nope, sorry. I have to click control. Hold the side handlers, move my mouse up and down. You can see it goes in both directions the same way. And these are actually these black borders that you have from movies in the cinema. You have it on your TV when the ratio of the picture is different. But what you can see is automatically, because we expect this to be a movie, it looks more interesting, more action-like, more professional, more like a movie. Compare this. Look at this picture. Interesting, but not like action-like. You wouldn't expect any kind of motion. And then you look at this, and this looks automatically a lot more interesting. So it's a dirty little trick, but it really works very great. It's very fast, but super effective. Okay, these were the 6 different tricks for frames and borders. Thank you very much for watching. If you like my videos, maybe subscribe. If you want to support me even more, head over to Patreon, where you can get my original files with all the layers. You can get feedback on your creations. And of course, we can talk about different ideas or things that you want to learn and suggest for episodes that I should create. Thank you very much for watching. See you in the next episode. Bye.